This is me, 17 stone 2 pounds. I used to be strong, but years of migraines and nerve damage have taken their toll. I've lost 2.5 stone before, and I've put most of it back on again. The heaviest I've ever been was 18 stone 2 pounds. This isn't where I want to stay. I'm choosing to rebuild my strength, improve how I eat, and take control of my health again. I want my fitness vlogs to keep me motivated and accountable. So stick around, and hopefully you'll see a skinnier me soon.
So this is the current gym room. It's quite crowded. We've got more in here than what we actually use. I haven't used that in so long. Haven't really used this yet. My husband uses this seldomly. I'm wanting a bit more space because mostly I want to do stretches, yoga, and part of the issue is I need to reinvigorate myself to exercise, and part of that is through just completely redoing the whole space. The plan is to take all of this, take it upstairs into one of the spare bedrooms, and that spare bedroom is going to go into a different spare bedroom because of the size of beds, and then the other spare bedroom is going to come down here. So just a long-winded switch around. So I've got to switch out 3 rooms, swap them all around in order to get motivated to do exercise. So it's the next day. Today I started to do a bit of decorating in the bedroom. The gym still needs the treadmill. That will happen when I've got an extra person with me to help take it upstairs. But for now, I wanted to talk about chronic pain, chronic migraines. That is the big cause of my weakness over the last few years. The simple explanation for me being overweight is that I eat too many calories for what my body actually needs, and laziness, as well as complacency, not really caring, and far too much love of chocolate. But when it comes to my actual physical performance having dropped so much over the years, I think part of it was when I moved up to Shetland, the ground here is very difficult on your feet. Unless you're going to run on tarmac, you can't really run. You can't run on these hills. And I used to run a lot with my huskies. That kind of all stopped. I stopped running when I came up here. An old injury on my knee kind of prevents me from running on hard ground for long periods. I need kind of the flexibility, the cushioning of soft ground. But here it's just too soft. It's too boggy. It's dangerous. There's hidden rabbit holes everywhere. And then also, not long after I moved up, I was bucked off my horse and I ended up landing on this whole side of my body onto tarmac. Since then, I ended up with migraines that were progressively getting worse, a little bit of nerve pinching, but nothing too severe. But as with everything, it starts off small and then gets bigger and bigger and bigger. All issues do, unless you deal with it. The same thing happened to me. My nerve damage got worse to the point where at 3 in the morning I would wake up screaming and my husband would have to hold my arm and pull it for me so I could essentially untrap a nerve because the pain was that severe. And with that would lead on to 3, 4, 5 days of vomiting migraines. That was when I was at my worst. So eventually I decided to seek help. And I first went to a chiropractor because I thought it might just be muscle damage and maybe some tissue issues that he could maybe sort out. He did help reduce the migraines a little bit. He noticed an issue with my neck. I had basically an area that was protruding that shouldn't be, an area of muscle. It was just not sat where it should be. So he realigned that, but I would have to go back every couple of weeks to have it realigned essentially. Through my chiropractor, I was given a referral to a specialist. The reason why I hadn't previously gone to a specialist was because when I had gone to a GP about it, they just said take paracetamol and left me to get on with it, which of course I was in immense amount of pain. Paracetamol didn't do anything for me. I got the referral. I was given x-rays, steroids, and MRI as well. All different things to try and work out what was happening and what we could do about it. And essentially it came down to I have a nerve that's caught in between two vertebrae, and I can track it when it's at its worst. It's a nerve that goes all the way down, comes along here, and then goes to the end of my thumb. There is no cure because it's in my neck and they won't operate on that unless it was life-threatening. And it's not life-threatening, it's just at times life-debilitating. So they won't do anything about it. There's nothing really that can be done. Sometimes nerves will heal themselves. This one, however, they said to me, oh, it might heal in a few months. By that point, it was year 5, so we kind of all accepted this would be permanent. I was given a different drug to help, and I have a massage gun to help when it's really bad, and all of that really, really helps. I still get a migraine a week at least, and it will be sometimes the vomiting kind. I had a 3-day migraine about a week ago. That was a vomiting migraine. So essentially what I have is slightly misaligned vertebrae in my neck that are trapping a nerve, causing strain on muscles, and they suspect slight leaking of spinal fluid. There's nothing they can do for me other than give me medication. So I've got medication. That helped massively. I'm now trying to come away from it, but I might just have to stay on it. We'll see. I'm trying to see if my migraines will reduce on their own. They're not so far, so we'll see. We'll see. That's a work in progress. When it comes to my diet plans, quite often you'll hear people who have got PCOS or who are dietitians who suggest things for PCOS, or a gynecologist who suggests things for PCOS patients. They all say avoid potatoes. Now, I do know that there is a change in opinion on that gradually. I've definitely noticed that recently, where people aren't as opposed to potatoes as they used to be. But still, they suggest low carb, and obviously potatoes are high in carb. However, when I am in the midst of migraines, at their absolute worst, vomiting, sweating, shivering, your body goes into shock when they're really severe. Sometimes light is painful, sometimes sound is painful, touch can be painful. And in those instances, the only thing I can ever stomach eating is potato. It might be a jacket potato and tuna, or it might be a bowl of just boring chips. It's fries if you're North American. I have to try and diet low carb. I know that works for my body. I know that works for PCOS. I know that is what's needed. My gynecologist team recommend that thoroughly, but I have to balance that with the only things that I can stomach to eat when I'm in the midst of my migraines. That's one aspect of my diet that I have to contend with. When it comes to my diet, I don't have any specific plans other than eating more greens, being sensible, hitting my protein, and trying my best to hit fiber. I find fiber the most difficult to achieve. Today, I'm not dieting as such. I'm being mindful more so of what I'm eating right now. I haven't really gone full in yet. I'm waiting for some storage containers to arrive for the freezer. If I have to think a lot about what I'm going to eat that day, I lose interest quickly in dieting and I lose motivation because it's taxing. It's another thing on the mind when I've got other things that I need to crack on with. So I want to get better at making dishes that can then be put in the freezer for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and so on. I want to get better at prepping. So there we go. So that's everything. I will see you very soon.